I want to tell you the story of my friend Tony. Tony was a veteran, a sergeant in the United States Marine Corps during the Vietnam War. He was discharged after a psychological evaluation and spent the next 40 years on the streets of Aurora living with schizophrenia. He turned to alcohol as a way to cope. We secured a place for him to stay and helped him open a bank account where he could receive veterans assistance. We got him a goldfish, but we couldn't find the care he needed to manage his health. When we sought out primary care, we were repeatedly met with providers that didn't take the time to give him the comprehensive care that he needed. But when we found VNA healthcare, we experienced something different. Tony's story is one of many VNA stories. VNA provides care for people of all ages and all types of circumstances, from prenatal care through hospice, from individuals to multi-generational families. They can all count on VNA to be there for them when they need it most. At our first appointment, I was taken aback by the nurse's kindness as she removed his socks and carefully examined his feet, a simple act of human touch that made a world of difference. It changed my understanding of what healthcare can mean and set the standard for care that we advocated for the rest of Tony's life. That's the magnitude of the mission behind VNA. How did you get started with VNA? Where did it start for you?
Oh, I started as a nurse in the home care department, and I was drawn to the mission of VNA. Having a nursing background, I was really inspired by the first nurses and doctors who brought the mission to life.
So when you first got started, what was the scope of services? Like, kind of where were you then, and where are we ultimately headed?
So when I first came to VNA, we had our clinics providing preventive care for mostly women and children, and we provided a lot of home care services, a lot of nursing, visiting nurse services, and we've grown and expanded a lot in the primary care area, as you know. And we've just celebrated 20 years as a community health center. We received federal funding 20 years ago, and that really started the expansion in primary care, where we could provide comprehensive primary care, OB, pediatrics, family practice, and many other services to provide that full range of primary care for patients, without worry whether they have insurance or not. They don't need to worry about that, or whether they can pay for the service or not. We could provide that service.
So let's talk about maybe the main goals just for the Growing for Tomorrow campaign.
We've been thinking carefully, of course, about our plans over these next years. And this campaign helps support us in our objective of reaching 100,000 people served per year. And so there are a number of projects and expansions that we're planning. So it includes everything from expansion at our Indian Avenue location, where we'll be serving more pregnant patients, more infants and children, and expansions at our Villa location in Elgin, some improvements at our Highland Avenue location, and new locations like Joliet, new locations in Aurora and Kane County and Villa Park, and service expansions. So we have, for instance, the school-linked health center that will be starting this autumn for West Aurora School District, and we're planning expansions for older adults, a adult day service, and of course the primary care that we already provide, and a number of wraparound services. So there are service expansions as well as the facilities to support them, and this campaign supports all of that.
I mean, you're not growing to just grow. You're not a for-profit organization. So talk about maybe the demand and that 100,000. Why do we think that is necessary right now?
Across our service area, which includes many communities across the suburban Chicago area, there are hundreds of thousands of people who have no health insurance, who are lower income, and would otherwise have difficulty getting access to care.
This is a huge campaign. So most people would say that it was pretty daunting, but you look pretty calm about it. But what are the what are the big concerns like as you move forward into this knowing the need and really what are the things that are on your heart that you would share about this campaign?
So it's a $5 million campaign over 3 years to help us meet our goal. And we are so grateful for partnerships that we have had and continue to have and new ones potentially in the future. And we know that those partnerships really support us in our work to make meaningful change in the communities that we serve. So, our partnership with the Dunham Foundation is a very important one. We're deeply appreciative of their trust and investment that they've made in our work. And it is truly a transformational gift that will positively affect generations to come.
John had his business. The home office was in Aurora. He was an Aurora guy, graduated from West Aurora High School. And most of his employees came from the greater Aurora area. And when he was getting later in life, he wanted to set up a foundation, a charitable trust, which the vast majority of his assets went into on his passing, to help individuals in our area, many of which their families probably were employed at John's manufacturing company. And so that started it, and that mission lives with us today. We want to help people be successful, prosper, and lead good lives, raise a family, work, and enjoy their family life in the greater Aurora area.
I think when the Dunham Foundation Board of Directors commits such a significant investment in a project, it helps shows our confidence in that organization and the services that they provide. And I think that it helps other funders, whether it's an organized entity or an individual or a corporation, see that if we're committing $1.5 million, that it must be a quality organization that they too should support.
We're only as good as a company as our community is. And if our community cannot support the underserved populations, we're going to have trouble. We're not going to be successful. Everybody should have an opportunity to go to the dentist. Everybody should have the opportunity to get reasonably priced prescription drugs. Everybody should be able to see a doctor once a year. Those are basic human rights, I'll call it, human needs that as an employer, every employer should consider supporting VNA so that everybody in the community can get those services.
Dunham Foundation believes in VNA and the services that they provide. And they're really the main service provider of healthcare needs to so many that live within our community and beyond our community. I mean, they have facilities in many cities and towns around here. But when you look at our demographics of the Aurora area and you see the level of people's income and whether or not they have insurance, that's when VNA steps in and really becomes such a vital part of ensuring that we have a healthy community.
If you could say one thing to another organization that would help them to provide the level of impact or to, whether it's the same dollar amount or not, but to bring that much impact to the community, what would you say to them?
Really dive deep into their website and see the wide array of services that they provide. I mean, there's so many different things that they do and they do well. They are providing the most incredible level of care to those that otherwise would not have it. And it's very important that all different levels of donations come in, whether it's, again, from a corporation or business, from an individual. I mean, we've got a lot of businesses in the Aurora area and their employees live and work here. And to support VNA is supporting the families that live here.
Who can support the campaign?
Everyone can support the campaign, and we welcome that support in whatever amount, whatever way that feels right to that person or that organization.
Every week, thousands of our neighbors across the suburban Chicagoland walk through the doors of VNA Healthcare, finding the same compassionate care that Tony did. And when they are too sick or too afraid to make that journey, VNA brings the care to them. We're at a pivotal moment in VNA's history, a history that has been built on partnership. VNA changes the lives of their patients every single day. Now is your chance to do your part to build a stronger, healthier tomorrow.